This lesson will take a closer look at Tiktaalik and see how it is not actually a transitional slash intermediate fossil. Tiktaalik is claimed to be an intermediate kind between fish and amphibians. However, it's actually a lobe-finned fish, not a ray-finned, which is the other class of bony fish with many species similar to Tiktaalik, like the alligator gar, just so you know. Its parts that are agreed to classified as a fish are its gill arches, fin rays, pelvic fins, and scales. Its parts that are claimed to be amphibian are its skull, pelvis, and limbs. Looking at Tiktaalik's skull, which is claimed to be amphibian based on its shape, horizontally flat skulls are found in cartilaginous, not bone, cartilage, rays, and ray-finned flatheads and catfish, like I have shown. And though all the skulls are differently shaped, to rule out the possibility of a true fish being very flat-headed like Tiktaalik, with an amphibian-looking skull, is unwarranted. Looking at Tiktaalik's pelvis, it is one bone, much more like fish, and not composed of three bones like you find in a tetrapod such as amphibians. And each side is fully separate. It's not two pieces connected to each other or the spine, like you'd find in an amphibian. Also, the hind legs are proportionally not suitable for terrestrial movement, which implies that the pelvis is then insufficient for terrestrial movement as well. And finally, looking at its limbs, there are no true hind legs, but merely hind fins that aren't longer or more robust than the forelimbs, which is contrary to tetrapod limbs. Now you look at a dog or cat, the hind limbs are longer and more robust than the forelimbs. Also, there are no true digit bones, and wrist bones were not fully found. There's good level of assumption involved in saying that a certain bone found was a wrist bone or that Tiktaalik could have had a wrist bone. There's absolutely no certainty to that whatsoever. Almost pure speculation. Essentially pure speculation. And finally, when it comes to fins that can stiffen and allow for terrestrial movement, these are found in ray-finned mud skippers and so-called walking catfish, but it's very awkward movement. Meaning, if Tiktaalik were a true fish-amphibian intermediate, it would likely starve to death due to poor mobility, not really being able to walk and not really being able to swim, and moving on land much worse than a mud skipper or walking catfish. Like this.
It can walk on land and breathe air. Its life is very different from that of most. A fish out of water, maybe, but they thrive